What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Pickin Corners here on a Friday. Now, earlier, I did a show with Carlo Koliakovo and Josh from Cover Sports, and I went down to the comments, and so many, I finally know what it feels like to be a girl taken out and a guy just wants to get something from you and toss you to the side. That's how I feel when somebody, well, where are the picks? Where are the picks? I want to use this guy for the picks and just dispose of him. And I got to be honest, there couldn't be something that's more likely to make me not give out picks than knowing that people come here and frantically, maniacally, with the red veins you see in cartoons on somebody's eyes. Well, what are the picks? What are the picks? What did he say? Panarin 1.5. I heard Panarin 1.5. Was it the over or under? I don't have time for this. And then you close out the video and go to something else. So sometimes, how about you just sit and enjoy? You have a little enjoying session. But what I will do on this video is go to some of those picks for tonight while there still is time. Not just yet, though. I want to first talk about a couple things on the Patreon, because that's who this show is brought to you by. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing this show. And if they have any requests of me, any questions they want answered, I try to answer them in here because as I told them a couple days ago, I'm a talker, not a typer. I'm not sitting there writing 3-act Shakespeare plays and responding to a bunch of things. So what I will say is, for the people who joined, how it goes is before the following day, I post my picks for that following day. Then the next day, I update those picks. Now, in the post, I usually talk about, in the description of the post, kind of what I like the most. I usually talk about a point or two, and those are like my main meat and potatoes of the night, because many people were saying, well, but all these tickets, what am I supposed to do? Well, the tickets that I put first, those are like my favorite Dan plays. And then as you go down, you'll see a prop, you'll see this. It doesn't mean parlay the whole lot of them together. But I know it's just people can't help themselves. But I usually start with my favorite ones first, and then some, I move towards like the props and other things towards the back. Then the following day, I update the post with a couple ruckus parlays. The ruckus parlays are their own thing. They're like plus 1,500, plus 1,000. I put a couple of those there, hoping to just hit one of them, because if they're plus 900, one bet clears every single ticket. So people are like, can you please just put which ruckus same game parlay you like the most? Are you nuts? The reason they're called ruckus same game parlays is because they're just that, hoping to hit a ruckus lottery ticket bet and then have that clear. It's either you're putting all of them in for a small amount or you're putting none of them in. You can't focus like, oh, why don't you focus on the one you like the most? There's no such thing. If you think one has better than odds than the other, you're kind of a donkey. There's a reason it's plus 2,000. So that's how I handle those. When I give a game and say, like 2 points for Goudreau, 2 points for Lindholm. Honestly, that really is code for 2 points for Sharon Govich, 2 points. Anyone on the top line, top power play, you can mix and match with. Same type of thing with like I gave point and that one did hit. But if you wanted to take Hedman or Stamkos or any, those are all in play as well when I give those ruckus selections. So that is something that I wanted to tell you, prospective joiners. I mean, I know a lot of people are pretty happy on there now. Sometimes I wonder, with all these videos, I know this is true. There's just some whale who's watching these videos. It's a MegaloDAN, like the MegaloDAN. There's a MegaloDAN, and they're just putting I know you're out there. I know you're out there, because I hear from all the pirates who are just trying to find a treasure with all these crazy picks, and they're the ones who are going to frantically comment. But I know there's that guy sitting in his suite, and you found somebody who's giving you good picks, and you have the bankroll, and you're just slamming $300,000 bets. I know you're out there, and I don't know what I can do about it, but just know that I know that you're out there. And I think if, I don't know, you're a person who believes in karma, maybe you should throw a couple shekels my way. I know you're out there. I've heard about you. Somebody told me about one of you. Maybe you should do the right thing. Be sure to tip your waitress. Anyway, Uh, you can always join those Patreon. We got the weekend coming up, and that's where I post my weekend picks. I'm going to go through my first look at the games here on Pickin Corners. But outside of that, if you want the full allotment, you have to join. Why would you join? Why would you join the Patreon? A, because there's a hilarious ruckus chat thread in there where all the people, I mean, it's mostly pirate waters. I see very few straight bets in there. It's a full aggregation of pirates, and they're in the ruckus chat there exchanging their tickets and theories and this, that, and the other. And then there's a second chat where it's my updates only, despite the fact that people just cannot stop themselves from trying to write in there. It's an Andy only update thread. So that's for those of you on the Patreon who pay for this show because you are a Green Bay Packers minority owner, unless you hate the Packers and then use some other franchise that lets you do that. And you guys are the owners of all the material on my YouTube channel until I sell it, and then you get a grand total of nothing. But until then, you're a part-time owner of this show. I will tell you, I did get one offer for a not one of the main sports books to advertise, and I declined it because they don't offer the type of hockey bets that I give to you guys. And I thought it just seems disingenuous to say, oh, I like the Artemi Panarin under points, and I like when you combine that with the under half, and then sign up for Johnny Two-Time Sportsbook, where you can't put all the bet in that I've just been telling you about. So I did, I did decline a sponsorship. Don't know if that was a great idea, but for now it's great because I answer to you. Even though if you have unreasonable requests, I will never answer to you, but I theoretically answer to you. So why don't we start for you maniacs who just couldn't handle the fact that it was not a short video with a bunch of condensed picks? How about I go do some of those for tonight quickly? So if you can go to DraftKings and we can open up a window with some of the bets for tonight. Why don't we scroll up and let's go to this Rangers game. If we go into there, as I was saying on that show earlier, I'm trusting the goaltending that I saw from Adin Hill, and then also the fact that the Rangers haven't been as good as they were earlier in the year. They haven't been, raking up goals. I've been told that after a long West Coast trip, you're kind of likely to have a slow game at first on your own home ice. I guess tonight we'll put that to the test. But what I like in this one, ideally, would be an under 6.5. But if you're going to do a same game parlay, go up and click the same game parlay. You don't have the option of taking alt lines, so I'm going to have to take the under 6. So if you click that, and then we go to the player points, as I did, I believe, for those of you on the Patreon the other night, I parlayed the under 1.5 points for David Pastrnak with, I believe, it might have been shots on goal or the under in that game. But when I see a defensive team play one of these teams who has players set at 1.5, like you saw this with Winnipeg and Toronto the other night, how many Toronto Maple Leafs cleared the 1.5 in a 1-0 overtime game? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you know how many did. So I'm going to take the under on Artemi Panarin's 1.5 total. And then that should put us in the plus range. Now, the reason you're not getting a good price on this is because there's obviously hard correlation between the under 1.5 and the under 6. Like if we chose the over 6 with the under 1.5, these odds would kind of go crazy. Don't show them. They could just trust me. But here's a bet that I like. The under 6 with the under 1.5 for Panarin. But kind of my favorite play for this game would be the alt under 6.5. In some of those other games, they kind of sold me on the Panthers. So I guess the Panthers are a good value. It's just like, a lot of people are going to be excited to take them. I think the Panthers are a good value there at minus 130. The Kings, you want to know what I'm skewing towards? I said this on the show earlier. The over on saves, if you click into that game and go to the player props, actually, there might be a goalie props. You might have to get out of that. and go to the right. And if you go to the goalie props, we should see Alexander Gorgiev over 27.5. Now, my reasoning here, I love when some of you people ask me for the reasoning, like if I gave you absolutely none, that would actually change what you're going to do. Yeah, obviously had the Kings call out their teammates, both Doughty, Kopitar. And I think this will be a wake-up call for the team. Don't know if they're going to win, but in a game like that, I would imagine you show more intensity. Put yourself in that position. Your teammates called you out. What are you more likely to do? Hit people at every chance you can get and throw pucks to the net every chance you can get. Just create some chaos. For lack of a better term, maybe a slight ruckus, although I would not take the over in this particular game. I'm actually leaning towards the under. Well, how about you go to the player props right next to the goalie props, leave that highlighted. And if we add Kopitar, who's not a big shooter, but in this game that we're going to see about the I'm sorry, you might have to go to the top. And I think there's another column for and we take the Kopitar over 1.5, 2 down, uncheck that, 2 down Kopitar, 1.5. And then oh, yes. On this site, you could on Caesars, you can do this bet that I just put there. Over 1.5 shots for Kopitar and the over on saves for Gorgiev. That's another thing. You got to know your sports books. You know what? Next episode, I'll re-go over which sportsbook. I know everybody always needs reminders, but every bet is not available on every site. It's the reason I declined that sponsor, and it's the reason you got to know it all. Oh, you're too lazy? Don't feel like knowing it all? Well, then I guess you're not going to win. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I love that. I want to bet hockey. I want to be one of the best hockey bettors. Are you signed up on all the sites? No, I just want to do everything on one site. Oh, okay. Just the classic hard work that exudes a moneymaker. Anyway, so I do like the Kopitar over 1.5 shots in that game, because if you're one of the leaders of this team, you got to set an example. How do you set an example? By leading and doing the things that you want the other players on the team to do. And that's cause a little chaos and get some pucks to the net, as corny and cliche as that sounds. I do think this Kraken game, you want to know a weird prediction I have? That it's going to end in 6 goals. I feel like this is going to end with 6 goals scored. And I really have 2 different variations where I'm not sure. I would want if you hit the same game parlay, I would want the Kraken. Man, that was 140 last night. Another benefit of the Patreon. You sign up, you get the lines a night early. If you click the minus 170 there next to the Kraken, and then you go to player points, and you go to Kevin Hayes under a half. So now that will take that minus 170 and give it plus 110. Now, why am I choosing that? A, you know that the Kraken are a pretty good defensive team, especially on their own home ice. And B, if you can open up the depth charts on Daily Faceoff for the St. Louis Blues, what I'm looking for when I bet an under on a point for somebody, I don't want to see you on that top line, and I don't want to see you on that top power play. He's not on the top line. Scroll down to the top power play. Kevin Hayes is not on the top power play, and scroll up. We even get the benefit of him playing on the third line. He's not even on that pretty solid second line. So we call this a calculated sniff. I'm going to take a calculated sniff that this is a way that I can get the Seattle Kraken at plus money. I also weirdly think, now that you can't do this on DraftKings, but if you open up, I think you just had Bet Rivers in the other window. If you go to Bet Rivers, you got to know where you can place these bets. If we go into that Blues Kraken game, go to same game parlay, and then go down a little bit, including overtime, game including overtime. And now we change the total goals to over 5.5. Click the over 5.5. Minimize that. Go down. Take the Kraken minus 1.5. I'm going to try to quickly remind you guys what you're supposed to do with money lines, puck lines, if you're going to combine them. If you're taking a money line and you're taking an under, you got to combine it with either 5.5 or 7.5. Why? Because many of you who I see choose a money line with under 6.5. Okay, name me a score that's going to win it for you, that's going to be able to use all 6 goals in that 6.5. Yeah, I'm still waiting because it can't happen. You're either going to say 4-2 or 5-1 or something like that. And if that's the case, you should be taking the puck line. So if you're going to take a money line, it has to be under 5.5, where you can win on a 3-2, or a 7.5, where you can win on a 4-3. If you're taking puck lines and the under, you're looking at either 6.5 or 8.5. Why? Because you're looking for 4-2 or 5-3. A 7.5 does nothing. So you make sure it's even numbers. And when you're talking about overs, it either has to be 5.5, because 4-2 will get you there, or 7.5, 5-3 gets you there. I'm going to go, I hope that makes sense. I just have so little faith in regular people to figure things out. That's like a rudimentary concept. God, I don't want to sound like I'm insulting all of you, so I'll stop right now. Anyway, let's go minus 1.5 for Kraken, over 5.5. Scroll down to the player points. This site, along with Ballybet, Bet365, they allow you to take the alt-on player points. So if I think they're going to clear the puck line, there's probably a pretty good chance that somebody is going to have 2 points. So let's scroll down to the 2 points. And the beautiful thing about the Kraken, look at that. They don't even have a single guy. I guess now Bjorkstrand is plus 350. I think they're getting Beniers back tonight. And so go to the line combos for the Kraken. If Beniers is back tonight, and I know he has a pretty good chemistry with Eberle, so we got I don't know if this is updated. There's no way they're sticking him on the 4th line. All right, let's go with McCann. Let's go with McCann. Good goal scorer. You know, when he gets hot, he tends to get very hot. What did that snake us? Go to the bet slip. Just a quick plus 900. So, you know, not too bad if you happen to be right on that particular pick. So those are some picks for tonight. Are you happy, you gargoyle? And now we can go directly into this weekend's picks. I don't know a single that I pride myself on not looking ahead, which probably isn't the best thing, but I like this being a true first glance. And I love all you people who think you can like read me like some poker player. I didn't like the hesitation when he thought over 2.5 for that one. So the first, Bruins Flyers, you know the first thing I'm thinking without even looking. Don't you know? Bump it up. Under 6.5 is my first thought. Capitals Stars, typically this would have been a classic under. I think I want to do it. Maybe for old time under's sake. I think I'm going to go under 6.5 in that one as well, with the potential chance I can get screwed because Ottinger hasn't been himself this year. Sharks Sabres clearly has ruckus potential. I mean, they're setting the over at 6. I would take the over there. Predators Oilers. Very, very interesting. I mean, these Oilers are the defensive juggernauts now. I mean, in the spirit of what they've been doing defensively, I just feel like I want to take team total Nashville under 2.5 with an Edmonton win. Go down. Rangers on the second half of back-to-backs. Ottawa, I told you guys I really liked them for 2 goals and the plus 1.5. I think that's another, just replicate what I said in that Bruins game. I like both teams to score 2+ and kind of like them at plus 1.5. With the potential chance for an upset. Jonathan Quickson to be in there. Plenty of player point props will be open to you in that one. Coyotes, Hurricanes, I think minus 220 is a good price for the Coyotes when you see how bad. I'm sorry, minus 220 is a good price for Carolina when you see how awful Arizona's been playing. Home and home rematch. Oh, under 6.5. The hell? So they set the one in Toronto to 6, but the one in Winnipeg 6.5? Are they like tricking me? Is this a sucker bet? Or when Hellebuck gets officially announced, are they going to change it to 6? That's very interesting. Canadians, Penguins. That kind of depends what the Penguins do tonight. Devils, Lightning. We bet on this a couple weeks ago. I'm just betting against the Devils every single time they're in a matchup that I like the other team in. I like the Lightning at home. I liked them at home against the Devils a couple weeks back when I was doing that live stream. I'm just not... I said it all year. They're the roller hockey Devils. They don't play defense. They don't get good goaltending. What do? Oh, yeah, they score every once in a while. Yeah, so do the Senators. So do the Sabres. I don't see a considerable difference between them and those aforementioned ones, other than the fact that we always get good prices. Devils are capable of an upset, but my God, when do they even win now? When did the Devils win? They came back. I mean, they blew, 3-goal lead against Vegas? 2-goal lead against Vegas? And then trailed by 2. All right, they came back and won in overtime and then returned right back to their losing ways against a good team the following game, against a team who played back-to-back nights in Carolina. Devils can win, but with Vasilevsky playing better and Tampa rolling recently, I just think that's a very good number and price for Tampa. Panthers, second half of back-to-back. Isles, plus money at home. I think this is... This might be a trap game. Got to see what Panthers do tonight. Vegas plays tonight. Goes to Detroit. If you know Aiden Hill's going in there, I think the Red Wings once again are a pretty good value in that game. I wouldn't do the bump it up under simply because I don't trust Thompson as much as I do Aiden Hill. How many games are there? I hope you can't even scroll down anymore. Ducks Wild. I don't even feel like thinking about it. Next one, Blackhawks. I don't feel like thinking about it. This is just too much already. All right, there's over ruckus potential in that one. 2 points for this guy, 2 points for that guy. The Canucks are coming off a loss. You know the major contenders in that one to do 2 points for this, 2 points for this. I'll think about it more overnight. And that's what we got for the weekend. That's the first look for the weekend, but if you want the full assortment of picks, that's just a lot of games I got to come up with stuff for tonight. But hopefully I will see you guys on the Patreon. I will be doing another live stream, I'd say, if not next week, the week after that. The more you that join, the more I do stuff like that because, look, it ain't guaranteed you're going to make millions or do anything like that. But as the people on there can attest, I do everything I can to make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck. All right? It's very much appreciated. Thank you guys so much for the continued support. Make sure you like these videos, comment on them, share them with other people who you might think would enjoy them. And I guess I will see you guys on Monday for a classic assortment of best bets. Take it easy. I'll talk to you then.